It's been a long time coming, but I am going to rank my entire Parfum de Marley's collection. You'd be surprised what's not in there and what's in there. But you have to come back to see how I rank these fragrances. So come back. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video of Smell Good with Jenna. I'm, of course, Jenna. Thank you so much for stopping by. You know what you got to do. Like, comment, follow, and subscribe. And let's get right into it. So you heard the intro. I'm putting my hat into the party, I don't know. I'm making this video. I know we've seen countless of Parfum de Marley ranking videos, but now that I feel that I have quite a few pieces from this house, I should rank mine as well. Spoiler alert, you won't find Delina on here, the OG. Shocking, I know, but I'll explain it a little bit more as I go through my ranking of the fragrances. But yeah, that's definitely not in my collection, so just a heads up, and let's get right into it. Coming in the 10th spot, this is Oriana. If you don't know, this is Parfum de Marley's response to Killian's Love Don't Be Shy. I don't know why there's a response, but as we know, allegedly, Love Don't Be Shy is Rihanna's favorite fragrance, hence the name, Oriana, and it has similar notes such as orange blossom and marshmallow. I really love this fragrance, and I love the scent profile. However, the citrusness of this fragrance, like the bergamot in it, I think there's another citrus note, I don't know, but it throws me off a bit, hence why this is in the number 10 spot, and I just don't think this compares to Love Don't Be Shy, but it's still a pretty fragrance that I love having in my collection. So that's in the 10th spot, Oriana. Coming in the 9th spot, we have Delina La Rosée. It's the baby sister of the three. If you love the scent of Delina, you'll love this one. It strips away the rhubarb of the OG, the oud of the Exclusif, and this is just juicier and aquatic, but all your favorite notes of Delina is in this one, and I love gravitating to this one in the summertime. It's just so, it's dialed back, but you still have that iconic smell. So definitely love this one. Love that I have it in my collection. I'm just ranking it at a 9 because it's not necessarily a scent that is iconic or unique. It's just dialed back and perfect for those summer days. So that's Delina La Rosée. In the 8th spot, we have Palatine, a fairly new fragrance, new to my collection as well. I'm starting to get into the purple floral notes such as violet, iris, lavender. This has violet and lavender in it. I find this pretty unique to Parfum de Marley because we don't really see notes like that. Specifically, we typically see orange blossom and a slew of other things. But this is, so I find this unique to the collection, but I think this is soft, creamy, very feminine leaning. Obviously, it's feminine leaning. It's just very, it screams woman. The reason why it's in the 8th spot, I haven't had much time to play with it, but I think this is going to be something that I really like over time as I'm becoming more fond of these notes. So we'll see if it climbs up. But right now we have Palatine in the 8th spot. Next up, we have Harold from Parfum de Marley's, obviously. The reason why this is in the 7th spot, because first of all, before I even get into that, this is my second fragrance from Parfum de Marley that I fell in love with. The first one was Leighton, not for me, it was a gift, but when I smelled this, I was like, this is really nice. I couldn't get it out of my head. And at the time when I purchased this, or I didn't purchase it then, but when I smelled it, I'm like, I could see myself rocking it, but my knowledge went to unisex fragrances or masculine, feminine leaning fragrances. I didn't know you can step on the wild side and wear, not that I didn't know, like there's some rule, like you can't wear masculine fragrances, but I didn't realize that there's these unspoken rules that you can dabble in whatever. So I just couldn't get this out of my mind. The tobacco, the vanilla, the spiciness of cinnamon, it was just everything to me. And I always thought about this fragrance until finally last year or earlier this year, I can't remember, I finally purchased it. Now, the reason why it's in the 7th spot, not because it's not an amazing fragrance. This is a head turner and just leaves a lasting impression. I find that this scent profile is done very often. And on top of that, I have quite a few of those similar fragrances. So that's the only reason why this is in the 7th spot. And something got to be in the 7th spot. So, but I truly, truly love Harrod. So in the 7th spot, Harrod. Coming in the 6th spot, we have Delina Exclusif. As I mentioned earlier, spoiler, I didn't have Delina in this ranking. I don't own Delina. I know maybe it make my collection more, I don't know, fire if I had all 3, but I felt like why should I have that in my collection if I'm not really too big on it? Not that it's not a good fragrance. I'm not wowed by it. I think it smells like your typical rose fragrance. I don't know. Maybe I need to play with it a little bit long, but the sample I had and I kept spraying it just didn't do it for me. But Delina Exclusif, this is the one that I fell in love with out of the 3. This is beautiful. You take the rhubarb and then you add the oud in it, and then just the vanilla in this. I'll never forget one time I wore this to work. Yes, to work. And I was sitting there, and as it dried down, I almost got like a caramel. I know there's no caramel note in it, but it was just the vanilla was so creamy and sweet, tied in with the oud and rose. I couldn't stop smelling myself. And it was definitely, I got a lot of compliments, even though it was a powerhouse wearing it in the office. But it's such a beautiful fragrance. If you really want to make a statement, out of the 3 Delinas, Delina Exclusif is the one to go with. So that's why she's my GOAT when it comes to Delinas, and it's in the 6th spot. Coming in the 5th spot, this might be a surprise to a lot of people, but we have Haltane, as I mentioned earlier, for Palatine. I'm coming around to the note of lavender. Before, I found it very masculine leaning, and I still do, but there's been quite a few fragrances that I've been really enjoying that has the note of lavender in it. This one does, and I fell in love with, from Lattafa's Agam, that's a dupe for Burberry Goddess. And I truly, truly fell in love with it because it had the lavender, but it also had the vanilla and praline. And I'm like, this is really good. So when I smelled the praline in this one, that lavender, but that sweetness was in there. It was just, I'm like, I can rock this. And then plus the oud, I'm like, yeah, this got to go in my collection. So it sets me apart instead of constantly always wearing the feminine line from Parfums de Marly. We're taking a step on the wild side with Haltane. So that's why it's in the 5th spot. Beautiful, beautiful fragrance, specifically for men. But if you're like me, a woman that doesn't mind wearing mask-leaning fragrances, you got to check out Haltane. Coming in the 4th spot, we have Delina Exclusif. So just like Palatine, this is new to my collection, and I have to play with it a little bit more, even though I wore this this past weekend. Depending when this video dropped, you won't know. But here in the East Coast, New York, if you will, we had a 70-some-odd degree day, and then the temperature immediately dropped in the 40s, so it was very cold out. But this is a beautiful fragrance. I love Delina. Let's see where it comes in on the ranking, but I love the DNA, so I knew I was gonna love this one. And instead of having that peach note in it, I think aldehydes, you put an almond note and a sandalwood note, and it just makes it super, super creamy. And it's funny because, like I mentioned, it was hot, and I got the OG DNA of Delina in this one, and couldn't really smell the difference. But as soon as it got cold, that almond and sandalwood really stood out. So love Delina Exclusif, and that's why it's in the number 4 spot. Coming in the 3rd spot, we have Safonade. Any chance that I get, let's say it's the spring and summertime and I have to walk by my collection, I always, when I'm missing my cooler scent fragrances, I always pick up Safonade and sniff it because it's just a gorgeous, cozy, comforting, luxurious, sophisticated type of fragrance. Although when you smell it, it almost smells like mature but not dated in a sense. It's just a gorgeous fragrance. The orange blossom, the amber, the vanilla, it's just amazing. And I can't get enough of this. I get compliments from everyone wearing this, even my mother. Like, my mother always tells me, we have different tastes in fragrances. Yeah. Girl, I know. but every time she smells it, she's like, oh, this smells so, so good. So I know when I get a compliment from my mom in regards to a specific fragrance that really gets her attention, I know this is a banger. So love this fragrance, and it had to round out the top 3. So that's Safanat. Coming in the second spot, we have Altair. If you've seen my review video for this, I've mentioned that I slept on this super, super hard. When I first tried this, I didn't understand why so many women fragrance influencers, if you will, were saying, oh, I didn't know I thought it was just hype, because I'm like, this does not smell good for a woman, in my opinion. On my skin, it pulled too masculine leaning. I thought it was a very good fragrance, but just, again, not for me. So a year later, I remember seeing someone had a layering combo, and I was like, again, people are always hyping this one up, so let me try it again. When I smelled it again, I was like, wait a second, this is, I need this. This is really good. The bourbon vanilla, the cinnamon, the orange blossom, this is a cozy fragrance. I'm like, I need this. And then I was just putting together the layering combos that I wore with this, and I had some really good layering combos because this was in it, and I fell in love. And I'm like, I slept hard on this one, so much so that it's in the number 2 spot. So I get the hype, and you see all the different dupes of this fragrance. It's truly iconic and a masterpiece. So coming in the second spot, we have Altair. And lastly, coming in the number 1 spot, can you guess what it is? Oh, wait. Nah, I tell you. Valaya. I mentioned I love Valaya so much. So, of course, this was coming in at number 1. But this was a fragrance I'll never forget when I was really starting to get into my niche bag. I remember walking all the way to their boutique, and I just wanted a summer type of fragrance, and the sales rep brought my attention to Valaya, and I sprayed it on me. Thought it was cute. I'm not necessarily into that clean girl, fresh aesthetics type of sense. So thought it was really cute, but nothing that grabbed my attention. Mind you, this had to be lunchtime. So 1 o'clock. Went about my day. I remember coming home and just relaxing, and I remember around 9-10 o'clock I got a whiff of something, and I'm like, what is that smell going around? And it's amazing. I completely forgot about how I sprayed this on me, Valaya, and I'm like, yo, I need this. I've never smelled anything that lasted this long at the time, this long, and smells that good. So that same night, found it on Nose Paris, and I purchased this. I needed this in my collection, and ever since then, I've been so obsessed with Valaya. It is my number 1, is in my top 10 fragrances of all time, and it rounds out my Parfums de Marly collection. So if you haven't, you definitely got to check out Valaya, because she's that girl. And that's it. That is my whole collection of Parfums de Marly. Again, you might be surprised some of the ones that I have on there, like Haltane, especially if I'm presenting all the feminine fragrances, but just you like what you like. Delina's not in there. We see, I mentioned Cassili's not in there. Meliora, I just can't get around to it. So there's some that I'm missing. I don't own everything. I love Leighton, but not for me. I love it for men. So yeah, so we'll see if I add more to my collection, but this is so far what I own. So thank you for watching. You know what you got to do. Like, comment, follow, and subscribe. Let me know what's your favorite Parfums de Marly fragrance, what you need to pick up. Let's just talk to me, holler at me. And always remember, the best compliment one can get is that you smell so good.